Imagine a band daring to do the impossible, performing live with no audience in the heart of a city buried nearly 2,000 years ago. That's the surreal setting of Pink Floyd, live at Pompeii. In October 1971, the group turned the ruins of Pompeii's Roman amphitheater into the stage for one of the most haunting, spiritual performances in rock history. No cheers, no applause, only sound echoing through the stones of time.
The idea came from French filmmaker Adrien Mabin, who wanted to go beyond a regular concert film. He aimed to capture Pink Floyd as sea purisans, no distractions, no crowd, just music and atmosphere. When he suggested Pompeii, people thought he was crazy. But Floyd loved it. They too were exploring the deepest, most experimental side of their art.
The production was a logistical nightmare. The ruins had no electricity, so the crew had to run miles of cables through the ancient site. Everything was improvised. The sound system, the gear, even the mobile studio, borrowed from the Rolling Stones. Filming took place between October 4th and 7, 1971, under the scorching Italian sun. Mosquitoes, dust, and the echo of amplifiers bouncing off ancient stone were all part of the magic.
Few people realized that the audio was completely live. No playback, no overdubs. Every note was captured in the moment. The natural acoustics of the amphitheater created a haunting resonance, as if the ghost city itself was answering the music. Locals even claimed they could hear the sound echoing miles away.
There was no audience, but the ruins themselves were silent witnesses. Statues, stones, and Mount Vesuvius looming in the distance. Roger Waters, David Gilmour, Richard Wright, and Nick Mason played as if the world was watching. Mabin told them to avoid looking at the camera. He wanted them in a trance. The result was hypnotic. Songs like Echoes, A Saucerful of Secrets, and One of These Days became almost spiritual rituals.
One of the most iconic moments was the recording of Echoes. Lasting over 20 minutes, it embodied the project's soul. Slow, meditative, transcendental. As the sun set behind Vesuvius, the music seemed to rise from the ashes of history. Mabin later said it felt like watching gods perform for the ruins of an empire.
Technical issues nearly destroyed the shoot. Generators overheated, tape reels melted, instruments went out of tune. At one point, Rick Wright's keyboard completely died. Gilmour had to improvise a solo to keep the session alive, while technicians scrambled to cool the gear with makeshift fans. Yet somehow the end result felt perfect, almost as if fate itself had mixed the sound.
Interestingly, Live at Pompeii was filmed without full government permission. The local mayor allowed it only after Mabin promised nothing would be damaged. Even so, the team was escorted by archaeological police for the entire production. In the end, it became a tribute to art, history, and eternity. Pink Floyd performing in a city once buried by Vesuvius in 79 AD.
When the film premiered in 1972, reactions were mixed. Some found it too strange. Others called it visionary. Over time, it became a cult masterpiece among rock and film lovers. Decades later, both Roger Waters and David Gilmour admitted that Pompeii changed everything. It was where Pink Floyd stopped being a psychedelic band and became an artistic force of nature.
In 2016, Gilmour returned to Pompeii, this time with an audience, closing a 45-year circle. A tribute to the moment when Pink Floyd turned silence into art and ruins into a temple of sound. So if this story gave you chills, hit like, subscribe, and tell us which Live at Pompeii track makes you travel through time, because in the end, the real audience of that show is all of us.